Fossil fuel subsidies distort markets by artificially lowering the price to produce, buy and use fossil fuels. This not only harms the environment, it distorts the market for renewable energies and disadvantages the uptake of clean and more efficient technologies.
For our planet to thrive and for future generations to inherit from us communities that are livable, we need to address the climate crisis. If we are to have any chance of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels, we must cut global emissions in half by 2030. That's only 9 years away, and right now one of the most substantial roadblocks in the way of cutting emissions is fossil fuel subsidies.
Fossil fuel subsidy reform is not a new issue. World leaders have agreed to the need to phase out inefficient fossil fuel subsidies since the late 2000s. Now we have to turn these well-intentioned commitments into real action. Governments must use all policy levers, including trade, to tackle this issue. Trade can be a vehicle for driving positive action on climate change. Subsidies are a trade issue. The stability and certainty of global trade rules and practices can make a meaningful difference.
Right now, there are some countries spending more on fossil fuel subsidies than they are on their health and education systems. We simply cannot allow that to continue.
The case for cutting fossil fuel subsidies is compelling, and some countries, including New Zealand, are already showing the way forward. As the COVID-19 economic recovery begins, we must set course towards a low emissions and climate resilient future. Where can we innovate? How can we show global leadership and ensure fair outcomes for our future generations? In addition to leading negotiations on a first-of-its-kind trade agreement, the Agreement on Climate Change, Trade and Sustainability, New Zealand is seeking to renew a fossil fuel subsidy reform statement at the WTO 12th Ministerial Conference.
Our intention is to increase transparency of existing subsidies and build knowledge and capacity by sharing experiences of subsidy reform.
So let's do it. Let's create and use binding trade rules to phase out these fossil fuel subsidies now.